Bueno, perfecto. Buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches para todos los que están en la audiencia y están escuchando hoy. Primero que nada, un gusto estar acá, un gusto poder participar nuevamente de un Power Platform Meetup. Gracias a Mauricio por la convocatoria, gracias también por el esfuerzo que considero es importantísimo al momento de generar comunidad. Estamos todos bien contentos de poder participar acá. Tenemos speakers de lujo hoy. Va a estar Sonia Bravo, va a estar Alex Rostam, va a estar Nicolás Nakasone. Y bueno, me toca un poco estar acá porque
Gastón,
el engagement inicial... Sí, Mauri.
Me faltó mencionar algo, que nos cumplimos un año desde la primera reunión que hicimos en Microsoft, y ahí gracias a la gestión de Adrián Fernández y de Ninosca de Microsoft pudimos sacar esto adelante, así que ahora estamos compartiendo esto. Y eso era.
Buenísimo, Mauri. Más que nada el tema de comunidad, y un poco para ahí Dona va a hablar un poquito del tema. Lo importante de esto es, primero que nada, iniciar comunidad, tener el objetivo de poder compartir experiencias, de poder en esta instancia tratar de compartir conocimientos, no solamente el hecho de preparar una charla, sino también de compartir la experiencia que cada uno tiene en Power Platform y poder iniciar un poco ese feedback ida y vuelta, en el sentido de poder compartir lo que estamos haciendo cada uno en proyectos diversos, en diferentes industrias, diferentes tecnologías, y empezar a poder compartir eso, ¿no? Entonces, creo que Dona ha hecho mucho esto a nivel diferentes países y diferentes estrategias para poder difundir esto, y de alguna manera que nos va a contar un poco ahora la experiencia que ella ha tenido en generar comunidad, porque eso es un hecho que es bien importante, el hecho de poder compartir este tipo de experiencias con la comunidad, y que cada uno de a poco también se anime a ir compartiendo qué es lo que va haciendo y ejecutando en proyectos utilizando Power Platform. Entonces voy a hacer un switch para inglés para que Dona también pueda entender lo que estamos hablando. Hello, Dona. I was just presenting how important it is for the community to be here, to be, all of us to be here. And I want just to present Dona as she's a principal advocate for Power Platform. She's trying to spread the word of the Power Platform worldwide, and she had a really great experience in terms of how we can engage with communities and how important it is to share different stories from everyone that right now is reaching to the Power Platform in different kind of projects and case studies, and how important it is to say and raise your hand and say, okay, I'm doing this. I don't know if that is really cool and that is really fun, but I want to share the story, and how important it is for everyone to go ahead and just share these kind of stories with the Power Platform community. And we are trying, and we've been talking about this with Dona. We've been trying to do this more and more with all the LATAM community. Right now it's in Chile. The next one is going to be Paraguay. The next one is going to be Peru. The next one is going to be Colombia. And we really want and love to spread this word in the whole Power Platform community. So go ahead, Dona, present yourself, and you're a rock star, so okay. Go ahead.
Hello. Thank you, everyone, so much. Lo siento mucho. Mi español es malo. It's very bad. So I hesitated to come and speak to you all because I don't speak English, which is a failure, but I didn't want to not meet you because of language. And Gaston reassured me that tech is our language. It's a universal language, so I should come and talk to you anyway. So thank you so much for having me today. You know, the world is a weird place right now, right? Between the pandemic and the protests and the riots, and there's a lot of things going on. And one of the things that has brought me a lot of joy and hope is just this global tech community that we're all lucky to be a part of, because we always have this in common. No matter what we agree on or disagree on, we always have this one love of tech and wanting to use it to make our lives, our jobs, our communities better. We all have that in common. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join me. So I wanted to tell you a story. I'm going to share my screen and you tell me if you can see it. Can you see that? Yes?
I think it's almost loading.
Not yet, but give me a minute.
No. Okay. Hang out. Uh-oh, bad network. This is my fault. Okay. Let's see. Let me try again.
We can see now.
You can see now? Okay. Perfect.
Yep.
Okay. So up until about 1 year ago, I hadn't heard of the Power Platform. And then about almost 1 year, last June, something very, very interesting and terrible happened. I would like for everybody to meet Shamal. Shamal is my father and my best friend. So he's worked at a company in the US called Ford Motor Company, which makes cars. They made the first cars. And he's worked at that company for 30 years. So he's always worked on the factory floor. So his job is to look at the cars when they come off the assembly line, make sure that they're stamped correctly, and then ship them off to their owner. So it's always been a manual labor job. It's not been a technology job at all. And he doesn't consider himself to be a technology person. So last June, he and 10,000 other people were laid off from the company. So Ford said, if you are not technical, we don't want you in the company anymore, because we only want people who can work on autonomous vehicles, so self-driving cars. So my father is suddenly at home, forcibly retired. He didn't want to be retired. He wasn't ready to be retired. Wondering what to do now. And this is the story of millions, probably 1 billion people around the world are in this situation. Probably many of you know someone in this situation where technology has taken over your job, or you're required to learn technology to do your job. There are so many people in the world like this. So one of the benefits I've had in my life is technology. I got a computer science degree from a place called the University of Michigan in the US. And tech has completely changed my life. I grew up in a very, very poor part of the US called Detroit, Michigan. And it's where the literacy rates are the lowest. People don't get jobs. Unemployment is very high. But because I studied technology, I was able to move to Seattle, Washington, where Microsoft is located. And I worked in the tech industry for 8 years. So by day, I am a software engineer. I have worked on the Windows operating system for most of my career. I worked on HoloLens, I worked on the Windows Insider program, and now I get to work on Power Platform. I'm also a published author. So I write books for teenagers and I write books for young adults on how they can navigate their careers. Third thing, I am a public speaker. I do a lot of speaking gigs to audiences all over the world. I haven't done as many in LATAM as I would like to, which is one reason I'm talking to you today. And the fourth thing, and this is the newest, I'm a fashion designer. I recently started my own company called Prima Donna, because I'm Donna, that makes clothing for professionals, for people like you and I. And they're all tailored by artists in various countries. So when I travel to a country, I make friends with tailors and artisans, and I work with them to produce for my line. So I've worked with people in Nigeria, in Jakarta, and in Johannesburg. So my fashion line, it's a part-time job, but I want to run it as a full-time job. So how can I do that? Because I do have a day job and it's really busy and my hours are packed. I have to use a lot of technology to do this. So this is my fashion line, Prima Donna Studios. And recently, as in at Build, I was hosting Build and I wanted something special for it. I released this thing called the Fox Street Hoodie. This is made in Johannesburg by 2 friends of mine. And we needed to handle our orders, we needed to handle our sales, we needed to handle our customer questions. We had a lot of work to do. This is me and my business partner, Jeremiah. Jeremiah actually speaks Spanish, so we should make him join us next time. So given that I have all of these needs of my fashion line, I have to use Power Platform to help run my business. And for me, who used to believe that everybody in the world should learn coding, this is a very surprising fact. So I was always the belief that everyone has to study computer science, everyone has to learn coding. This is me teaching a 10-year-old girl how to code. Best part of our hour of code thing that we do every year. And I realized, as I've grown a little bit wiser, that everyone in the world doesn't have time to learn coding. People have jobs, it's very expensive, it's very time consuming. So while they can't learn coding, that doesn't mean that everyone in the world can't learn to build and make things to solve their own problems. Whether that is a software engineer like me, or whether it's someone like my father who has no tech skills whatsoever. So whether you're a professional developer or a citizens developer, this is why I so believe in this less code, more power movement. Because it doesn't matter if you've written C++ code for 14 years like I have, or if you've never written code in your life. I do believe that the Power Platform gives you opportunity to solve your own business problems. So because you're in this meetup, you know a lot about these products and these tools, but I use all of them to run my business. I look at my sales data in Power BI reports. I make Power Apps to track my inventory. If I'd thought earlier, I would have taken screenshots of it to show you. I use Power Apps to track my inventory and look at my customer feedback. This way, my whole team can have the same apps on their phone, so we can look at what is the customer feedback on this hoodie? How do we have an inventory, if any? What do we need? We use Power Automate to do various process automations. So if someone comes to our website and leaves us a question, we can get a flow triggered and sending us an email or texting our phones. And then Power Virtual Agents is how we answer customer questions. So on the bottom of my website FAQ page, there's an FAQ, there's a chatbot that you can ask questions to. It's not very good. I've revamped it one more time to be a lot better. And of course, we use AI Builder for a bunch of very interesting scenarios. Most recently, I built a business card reader and a receipt reader. So when you buy fabric textiles, as I do all over the world, we get a ton of receipts and I need to track them for our expenses and our tracking and our taxes. It is very annoying to keep receipts and to write them down in Excel. So I used the AI Builder form processor to do OCR on the receipts and pull out the unique values. And we're in the process of migrating all of our data from Excel to Common Data Service. So you can imagine that's an adventure. So Power Platform has given me these amazing superpowers, and I'm sure given that you're all in this user group, you know that too. The superpower of the Power Platform is the community though. We have much more than 1.4 million community members now. I think we've got like 3.7 million. We've got almost 100,000 user group members. We've got probably more than 500 user groups at this point. But there's something lacking, and that is Latin American voices and Latin American faces. When I was looking for people who are doing Power Platform work, I had to look very hard to find people to talk to who are Latin American. I know you've got a huge Power BI user group. I know you've got some people in Mexico, but you're not being showcased on stages. We just had the Build conference that I hosted. We just had the MBAS conference, Microsoft Business App Summit, that I hosted. And I couldn't find Latin American stories to tell at these conferences. And I felt really, really ashamed because that means I have not done the work to go and meet you where you are. So let me tell you a success story. I spent a lot of time in Africa over the last 4 years as part of my job. And one of the places I've spent a lot of time is Nigeria. So when I was there in Nigeria on my last trip, I had a chance to meet this extraordinary woman named Foyem Olajide Bello. She is Nigerian. She heads up a SharePoint group in Sterling Bank. So Foyem, in her company, it's a bank of 1,500 employees all over Nigeria, 176 branches. Foyem's bank had a very interesting problem that's probably going to be very familiar to any of you who work in a bank. The way they do transactions between a vault, a bank vault where all the money is kept, and an ATM is like this. So someone will go to the bank vault, take out money, put it into the ATM, and then write it down in an Excel spreadsheet. And everyone does this for 176 branches. And at the end of the week, they email the Excel spreadsheets to a central location. And some guy at that central location's job is to add all of them together and make one big spreadsheet. And then he makes sure there's no errors and mails it to the CFO, the Chief Financial Officer. Now, you and I both know how many errors there are in this process. There's probably 100 errors. And Foy looked at this and said, this is so stupid. This is so dumb. I have to solve it. So within 2 days, she'd made a Power App that just does intake. And she deployed it onto the phones of people inside these branches and their tablets. So what does it take in? It takes in your branch number, it takes in your name, it takes in how much money you're moving from the vault, and it takes in the time. And you just fill in the form, hit enter, and then it gets saved to a SharePoint list. At the end of the week, whoever's doing the big report just hits generate, and then it generates the report, and you're done. This has saved them around 60 hours a week. So Foyen is awesome, but that's not good enough. She said, I learned so much because of Power Platform, because of building this Power App, connecting it just to SharePoint. I have learned so much and transformed my business. She's built 10 Power Apps since then, but all these other groups keep coming to her. She sits here in this IT team, but people from HR, people from legal department, people from finance keep coming to her over and over again and saying, can you build us an app to do this? Can you build us an app to do this? And she said, no, I can't, but you can. So she's created a thing called the Citizen Developers Academy. And she has put through 90 non-technical people through that academy at this point. And these are all people from all these other divisions, and she's created a curriculum and put them through this. But that wasn't enough for Foyen. She said, I want my country, Nigeria, to benefit from Power Platform. So she created Nigeria's first Power Platform user group. And when they first got together in October, there were 2 people, her and some guy. They met again in mid-October, 2 weeks later. It was she, some guy, and 50 people. In November, they had a meetup at the end of the month, and I was there. They had 150 people. And by the time they had their first in-person event in February of this year, before lockdown, they had 250 people there. So think about that. It's just one person who decided to take a stand and make the difference. And Foyen did this in her country. And now Nigeria actually has one of the biggest Power Platform communities in the world in like the last few months. But you don't have to be someone so senior in your career. I'd love for you to meet Hemantika. Hemantika is a student in India. She's 19 years old. She goes to this school, it's called Siliguri Tech. She just learned about Power Platform in April. So she learned how to build a Power App. You know, if any of you built one, you recognize kind of the science. She learned to just do a basic tutorial, thought, oh, I wonder if I can use this to track all the COVID cases where I live. And she did. So she built this to track COVID cases. And then she was being asked to build Power Apps to do all kinds of things. And as of 2 weeks ago, we asked her to come speak at our Build conference, our developer conference, and share her story. Now she's doing 100 days of code and learning one new thing every day to share with the public. She just did a very cool mixed reality demo. So you don't have to be so advanced in your career. You can be a student who learns this today. Story. This is Rita. Rita's from Nigeria as well. She learned about Power Apps as an Android dev. She's been doing Android programming for 2 years. She learned about Power Apps and said, wow, I had no idea you could make an Android app in 5 minutes, that you didn't actually need to open the JDK and do all this work. She loved it. And now she's started 100 days of code as well. Again, these are students who are decided that they're going to learn these things. So for all of you on this call today, I have three pieces of homework and an ask. One, if you've never dealt with the Power Platform before, first meet up your first time, just start with the total beginner's homework, aka.ms Power Up. It's a basic tutorial. You can do it in 5 minutes. If you know what's going on, have a look at aka.ms Power Academy. That is the curriculum that Foyen uses at her bank. And it's a great way to look at all of the things in the various platform at a very entry level across the board. It's the 101 of each thing. Once you do these things and you go build something, I would love to hear your story. My goal is that at Ignite, our Ignite conference and our Build conference, we have so many Latin American faces. So many Latin American faces and so many Latin American voices. And so many so that we've put Spanish subtitles on the conference because so many of you have attended. So that's my vision and that's my goal. I have to thank you for, when I was hosting Build every morning, I would look at the stream and ask, where's everyone from? And so many of you from Chile. So thank you for joining. But now it's time to do work. Do work, tell me your stories. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Dona. Thank you for your time. And now we have, maybe if you have some question, you can write in this same meeting. And the community, we have to tell about our history using Power Platform. So that is our task, our job now. So we don't have any question now.
Oh, everyone's stunned into silence. Okay, you don't have questions now, but you should do your homework.
We have one.
You connect with me on LinkedIn. Oh.
We have one question from Anonymous.
So yes, Power Platform is available as part of Microsoft for Startups. If you look at your Microsoft for Startups benefits, you get Power Platform for 1 year for 5 seats. We just announced that last month. Yeah, it's really happy. Thank you. Oh, one thing, if you want to start and you don't have a subscription or whatever, go get a M365 dev account. So just go to Microsoft 365 dev, sign up for a dev account. You get Power Apps, Power BI, Power Automate, all of it for free. And you can do a trial of Power Virtual Agent for 30 days. And you can do a trial of AI Builder for 30 days. So you can get all of it for free to try out and see if it works for you. If you need help, just let me know. I'm good at finding random hacks so you can try stuff. Okay, I think we're ready for our next speaker, unless anyone has any questions. I'm very findable on LinkedIn, so just ping me anytime.
Thank you, Dona. Thank you again.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Okay, thank you, Dona. Thank you, and thank you for all the community that came here. And it's kind of insane to have you in this call. And I'm gonna thank all the community to be here. And let's try to go jump into the Power Platform world and just try to tell the story what we are doing in LATAM. That is gonna be awesome to present some cool stories in Ignite and the next build. Again, wonderful. Thank you very much, Dona. I appreciate your time.
Of course. Of course.